Simultaneity is an idea that deals with time. For most of history, it was believed that time was an absolute quantity. No matter who you were, where you were located, or how fast you were traveling, time was the same for everyone, everywhere. Once Einstein finished with his theory of special relativity, the idea that time was a fixed quantity was abandoned. Simultaneity stems from the idea that events occur simultaneously. So what we have to do is define what an event is. It is something that happens at a particular place and time. And when two events occur at exactly the same time, they are said to be simultaneous. Take the lady in the rail car. She's sitting in a chair with two strobe lights exactly equal distances on either side of her. Each strobe flashes at exactly the same time, or simultaneously. The question here is, will the lady sitting in between the lights view the strobes as simultaneous? According to special relativity, the speed of light in a vacuum is always 3 × 10⁸ meters per second. We also know that the distance to both lights is exactly the same. If the distances are the same and the velocity is the same, then it follows that the time it takes the light to get to the lady sitting in the chair will be exactly the same for both lights. This would lead the lady to conclude that the two events occur simultaneously. Now let's take the same two lights. The lady is still sitting exactly in between the two lights. A man is also standing exactly halfway in between the two lights on the outside of the car. As the lights flash, the car is moving to the right at some velocity, v. So the question here is, will the strobe flashes appear as a simultaneous event for both people? The speed of light is not affected by the motion of the lamps. So if the man is exactly in the center of the lights, his distance to both lights will be the same. This means that the time for the light to travel to the man will be the same, making the flashes simultaneous for the man. So now let's suppose we are in the reference point of the man observing the lady as she is moving by as the flashes go off. The speed of light still does not change. However, from the man's perspective, the lady is moving to the right, decreasing the distance the light must travel, so she receives the light from the right light first. At the same time, the distance from the left light gets longer as she moves away from the light. The man measures the flashes to not be simultaneous relative to the lady, even though he measured them to be simultaneous relative to him. So which perception is correct? The answer is that they both are. This means that a relative velocity is critical in an observer's perception of simultaneity. So simultaneity is not an absolute, because it is a relative concept. This opens up the idea that absolute time does not exist because time itself is a relative concept. So simultaneity deals with time and whether or not events occur at exactly the same time. It depends on two major ideas. The two events are defined to be simultaneous if an observer measures them as occurring at the same time. And two events are not necessarily simultaneous to all observers.